voice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then give me a 5 in the big voice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And give me 5 in a bigger, even a bigger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I doubt we're going to talk.
That would be a good point of reference.
I might be talking that loud. All right, YouTube, thanks a lot for hanging on out. I've already got 3 people watching the show.
Wow.
How about that, Ray and Bob?
Watching live.
That's awesome, watching live. And
watching the
let's go ahead and
sausage
set
get
this.
made.
We'll set this up here. Make sure the rifle is not in view. And
Toy
we're getting
rifle,
things set up. It is a replica. Yeah, it's a toy rifle. But because AI or YouTube's AI picks it up, it says, ooh, it flags it. And the last time I was in here doing a video live, my YouTube got shut down because, I was just showing around the office, and then 10 minutes into it, I'm like, why is it off? Because I was doing a live of the install of the cameras.
Ah, okay, all right. So
Yeah,
let's
crazy.
see what we got here.
Just hit start recording. We're just going to do a check, mic check. So I'm talking kind of loud as you
Alright.
guys saying, give me a check. I don't know if we're going to pop that up, right? I'd say about this loud. Okay. So just, man voice. I'm going to talk to normal voice real quick and see. Okay, so do a 5 count in your normal voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then give me a 5 in the big voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And give me 5 in a bigger, even a bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so somewhere between obnoxious and shy.
I don't see any weapons in the view, do you?
Just this.
Oh, man! Oh, we got a lot of those. We got those up in this house.
Let me see.
You want to open that?
Outstanding.
All right, boys, we're live. Let me do a quick intro here, and then we'll talk about all the big guns up in the house.
Gotcha.
I'm going to look at that camera and say, welcome everybody to this episode of the Elevate Your Leadership Podcast with me, your host, Bob Pizzini. If you watch this podcast, you know that I love to have discussions with people who not only bring great value to me and my organization, but these are people who I know through the discussion will bring great value to you and your organization. Today's episode is a treat. Today's episode is exceptional. Today's episode is unique because as we approach our 10-year anniversary at iFly Virginia Beach, we're going to have a discussion with our general manager, Jason Laverius, and now our chief of safety and training, Ray Kubiak, who for the first 9 years or so was our chief flight instructor. So, Ray, welcome to the Elevate Your Leadership Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, guys. 10 years, we've been together for longer than that actually because, we formed up as a team and started putting this thing together, a year before we opened. We broke ground, we did construction. Ray, you and I met in 2009, I believe it was, in Eloy. And Jason and I met probably right around the same time frame, 2010 maybe.
2014.
14? Wow.
13 or 14.
Yeah.
You invited me over for lunch.
Yeah, okay, when I was working with R3.
R3, yes.
Yeah.
There, so.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, this team, there's 3 of us, there's 7 of us on the leadership team, but the fact that we have all been together for so long is just, it's the reason for our success. And I get accolades all the time, but I share them with everybody because it's really you guys, and it's this incredible team that makes it successful. So, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Tell us something memorable. Tell us something as you reflect over 10 years of running this place.
Right. Well, I remember when we didn't even have the glass in the building yet. The building hadn't even started erecting, and Jason and I
Erecting.
erected. I said it, and I meant it. I meant every word of it. Oh. We go hard at iFly Virginia Beach.
Technical terms.
Technical terms. Jason and I were in our flight suits and peeking over the wall.
That's right.
You know, you have that picture.
I had that picture.
Yeah.
You blew it up for it and put it hanging in my office.
Yeah.
I should go get it.
Yeah, Dexter will throw it in.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a cool photo.
Yeah, I love that
yes.
photo. And having to train the guys in a trailer down here, on the construction lot.
Yeah.
I think that was 10 years ago. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Time goes by so fast.
Yeah. Oh, you blink,
Time
man.
flies by.
Ooh, time flies. I like that. Okay, there's going to be a lot of those.
No pun intended, or
Oh no, intended.
intended.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of those.
Yeah, we're 3 dads. Like, there's no way, there's no way we're getting away with that.
So, Jason, what's memorable for you over the past 10 years? What stands out as, you know?
That, you know what, that is a great question, and it's one of those things where it's like, what do you pick from? You know, yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe I'll just move this over so it's a little bit better for Dexter when he does his editing.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it's just the continued growth of what we have going on. You know, there's nothing that really stands out. It's the team. You know, it's the people. It's, you know, I mean, I've decided this is where I'm hanging my hat for the next, you know, until you're gone at least.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
okay, all right. So,
But I'll be here for a long time, creating more memories and forgetting them, of course, because
Yeah.
this old guy here, right?
yeah,
But you know, remember when the VFD or the inlet contractor broke?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and the issues.
Not a
getting
great
it
memory,
resolved,
but actually a good memory because, yeah, go
because we
ahead.
fixed it right away.
Record time,
It was
yeah.
like, holy smokes, we were down for X number of days. Granted, it did result in a loss of revenue, but the team came together and fixed it. You know,
It was
all
remarkable.
hands on deck. The team came together.
Yeah.
and that was pretty awesome.
It was awesome, and you know we'll show some of the pictures of that too because we totally ripped apart a wall, got in there, got access to the inlet contractor, and brought up the fiberglass expert from Florida. You know, he repaired the damaged fiberglass, and then we re-anchored that thing ourselves, and then put that wall back together. This time using tile because that drywall got real messy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was memorable for sure. So, yeah, I'll ask myself the same question. What's most memorable for me over the last 10 years? And again, it is a hard one to answer because we've done so many things. But really, for me, there's been several occasions where teammates, past and present, have come up and said, "Hey, you know, can we talk for a minute?" And they just wanted to thank me for creating professional growth for them. You know, again, that's you guys doing it. It's not me. I don't interact with everybody on the team like you got regularly like you guys do. But we have all created an environment, and I think our better teammates, they recognize that. They recognize the professional growth, the opportunity, and we want them to move on and do something else and be successful, right?
Sure.
It's kind of a transient thing, not for us at the leadership level, but for a lot of our people, it is somewhat transient.
It's a stepping stone.
Yeah, I mean, we have people who completed law school. We have one former employee, one of the Skulls. She's completing medical school, and so many people.
Smart people.
Smart people.
Smart folks.
Yeah, and so they're going on to do wonderful things. And for those who have been with us for a while, awesome teammates, great people, you know, and I think we just really found the sweet spot. What resonates, you know, like what were some of the biggest challenges, Ray? What was one of your biggest challenges we've had in the last 10 years? Other than dealing with me, I get that. Oh, you got nothing now, huh?
No,
You got nothing.
That's funny. No,
I'm dealing with me.
No, my filter came in thick. I was like, we're live over here. Like, I can't take that. Some of the challenges is I would go to leadership, like being in a leadership role. Just the leadership's a challenge.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I was blowing the leaves at my house, and travel with me on this one. I'm blowing the leaves at my house, and I got ahead of the game this year. And I started actually 2 weeks ago, and I pick up a little pile, and I look in the trees, and there's still elephant's worth. You know, there's a ton of leaves in that tree still. So I know that I'm going to have to do this probably 10 more times. But the alternative is to let all those leaves come off the tree before I pick them up. But by the time I get to that, now I'm dealing with a bunch of dry leaves on the top and a bunch of dead, decaying leaves underneath. And I couldn't help but to think about leadership and how it's, if you tackle it every day in the little bits and you pick up those little pile of leaves, you don't have to deal with an elephant-sized pile of leaves, you know, You get to the bottom, there's death, there's decay, there's cancerous stuff, you know?
Yeah, oh
Like,
yeah.
It gets, and in the past, you know, we've done that where it's like we know we have a problem growing and we let it ride a little bit and then it just turns into a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Now, being able to approach it a little different, it's a thankless job sometimes. Because I'm going to pick up those leaves, I'm going to turn around in an hour and a half after the wind blows, and it's going to look like I did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's an ongoing, continuous thing, and it's a very challenging. I'm up for the task, but it is a very challenging task.
Leadership is not a one and done, right?
Yeah.
Anything that's important has to be revisited on a regular basis.
Right.
And in the realm of leadership, we're dealing with human beings, right? And the human psyche, the human ego,
Mhm.
the human emotion, all of that needs care and feeding on a daily basis. I mean, if people don't need that, then they're, you know, something less than human, and they're probably not going to be great teammates anyway.
Right.
So yeah, so no, I'm glad you recognize that, man, because that is a big deal. So Jason, what's been a big challenge for you?
You know, it's first and foremost, it's me not talking like a platoon guy. You know.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Jason's a former U.S. Navy SEAL, and so that's his reference there.
And so, not talking like I'm in the platoon hut and speaking in a more professional manner with all the teammates, because someone could potentially get offended by those, well, not meant to be offended, meant to be funny types of jokes and comments and phrases and sayings and this and that.
Yeah.
Someone would and might get offended. And so just calming that down, as funny as that sounds. But, you know, that leadership aspect that Ray Monk talked about, it's in this building on a daily basis. And I think that the most important thing that's helped me make those decisions is just leaning on our core values. You know, our core values of loyalty, integrity, and professionalism. You know, and our motto of excellence in all you do. And Roy Disney said this years ago, and I talked to this with every single person that comes through our door as an employee. Part of the onboarding process is letting them know what our core values are, and when your values are clear, your decisions are easy, said Roy Disney many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so, leaning on loyalty, on integrity, professionalism, you know, being loyal to, in the Navy, we called it shipmate, self.
Love that.
And so at iFly Virginia Beach, it's this decision. How does it benefit from a loyalty perspective? How am I being loyal to iFly Virginia Beach first, and then my shipmates, and then myself,
Yeah, yeah.
and then integrity, doing the right thing when no one's looking, right? And that's in everything we do as well. And professionalism, and it's not just in being that subject matter expert. Although all the people in this building are, but it's in how we carry ourselves as well.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
I mean, we gotta smell good. We gotta look good. You know, let me know if I have stuff in my teeth. You know? Nobody tells me I have stuff in my teeth still.
I appreciate the times you've helped me. Well, that means you have good personal hygiene. So that's
So
a big deal.
it's it's having that as a basis to help me lead the team, because sometimes this is a really hard discussion that I have to have with someone.
Yeah.
But it has to be had, and it's nothing personal. It's, hey, you're not being loyal. You don't have this action did not reflect integrity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not professional, and it makes it easier. It makes the job easier when I have those core values to stand on.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
you know, and when I brief new people, you know, core values are a push and a pull, right? So
Yeah.
we expect loyalty, integrity, and professionalism from everybody in our team, but they also expect it from us. And we have to demonstrate it. We have to give as much as we get, you know. And again, that's one of the reasons for our success, because we practice what we preach. And what I like more than I would say anything else, we help each other out, we lift each other up, and we call each other out. And you guys have done it to me. You guys have said, Bob, are you sure? Man, I'm not, you know, I don't agree with, you know, the direction you want to go here. There's been more than one time where you guys have really, I would say, kept me from making a poor decision. And then there's other times where I was blind to some things, and you guys were like, you know, Bob, there could be perception here that's negative. And, you know, and so, but it takes trust, right, for all of us to be able
That's
to
right.
have those discussions. So,
want to go back to what you said about talking like a military guy. I remember when we first opened up,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know Misty yet, and the rest of the leadership team. We haven't really met, and we've met a little bit, but we don't know each other yet.
Yeah.
You know, and we're getting these emails with FSWA, you know, FYSA, and like all this stuff. And I'm looking at Bree, and I'm like, the hell are they talking about? I was like, read that. And she would read it, and she'd be like, what did he say? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, but I don't want to look dumb, you know? And then finally somebody was like, can you please stop talking?
Yeah.
I think it might have been Misty. She was
Yeah.
like, can you talk in English?
Yeah.
Like, it was funny. I was like, oh, thank God. I thought it was me. Yeah. Yeah, showing up every day and being consistent with the leadership.
Yeah.
You know? That's where the you asked us to define leadership. It's so hard to do that, you know, in like a sentence. Because like you talk about in elevated leadership, there's so many different modalities. There's so many different types of leaders, you know. But adopting a little bit of all of that, and that's where the challenge for me comes in, you know. I find a lot of the times nostalgia, we can fall into nostalgia when it comes to leadership, and like, man, it's a new day. It's a new type of employee nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
It always will be.
And it always will be.
Yep.
And this book,
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah,
That's a cool book. We'll talk about
that's
that.
a pretty
in a
good
little
book.
bit. So, okay, all right. I thought you were still going.
I kind of was, but I don't care.
Okay, because I'm just because what I'm doing as we talk about this, I'm going into our Paychex account, and I want to look at how many employees we've had over the last 10 years.
Oh wow.
So anybody, while I'm looking for that, anybody want to take a guess how many have come and gone, including current staff?
I think 162.
I think you're cheating because everybody gets a number.
Yeah, he looks at it all the
The
time.
clock in. Yeah.
162 says Jason.
I'm gonna say 168.
Oh man,
Damn.
that's you got a tight shot group there, man. So people list. That'd be nice if I knew how to use this. Well, we're carrying 37 right now, and there it is. Okay,
171.
we're carrying 37, and we have 121 previous. So 121 and 37. Quick.
What is the highest employee number on there?
Is that right? One.
Who's the newest hire?
This is not in that order, unfortunately. So I'd have
Is it
to.
Caleb?
What were the numbers you said? 137 and what?
It's 37 and 121.
148.
Because you're employee number one. I think you're number two, right?
5. Is that right? Okay, am I right? What is it?
Chet, how many people do you think we've had over the last 10 years? What do you think? Throw a number out there. Thank you, JDS. Appreciate you hanging out. PBS, Carlos, Proud Mama, Elijah, Kapibahai. Yeah, I can't really talk on to you guys in the chat because we're doing this thing here, but what does it say there with respect to the number? The highest number. We just scroll down, ID number, maybe Kaylin.
She'd probably be amongst the last. Yeah. Let me. So that's.
It's right here.
It's where?
All the way up to the top, and then active employees.
Oh, well, there's Caitlin, 160.
160.
Wow.
Okay. Was she the last one?
Yep, she was. No.
Who's the newest hire?
Brody. Brody, I'm an FBI agent. Brody, 161.
Okay.
Yep, he's the last one.
All right.
So Brody's one of our newest instructors.
I got a question for you.
161 employees have been through iFly Virginia Beach.
161. Holy cow.
You're I've watched you evolve a bit over the years with your leadership. Lessons learned there. Like what do you feel like you're doing different now that you weren't doing
Yeah.
before?
Well, I appreciate that question. That's really good because you make me think and you make me reflect and introspect when you ask a question like that, and that's one of the things I do regularly. You know, am I prepared for whatever's coming up? If not, what do I need to do to prepare for what's coming up? How did I handle that situation? Could I have handled that situation differently? If so, what would I have done differently? I review or hot wash, these different scenarios all the time. And more and more and more, I'm happy with the way I've handled things. But I'll tell you what's different now than the day we opened, and you kind of alluded to it. We were all new, so Jason likes to talk to our new teammates about forming, storming, norming, and performing. The 4 phases, and then dissolving. Is that the last one?
Dissolving or adjourning.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing.
It bothers me so bad that it doesn't go with the. Never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't rhyme. It doesn't go with the nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
But when we all came together, there's the honeymoon, right? There's this high degree of trust and camaraderie. But then when we start to hit issues, how do we handle those issues as individuals and as team members? Right. And I know that I could have handled so many situations better early on. Some of the situations I just didn't have a choice. You get back in the corner and you have to make decisions that are unpopular. Mm-hmm. But there's no doubt that the trust, the bond that we have after being together for so long, if somebody doesn't show up, we don't think, you're late or why aren't you here? Is everything okay?
Right.
There's immediate concern for the teammate because we know the character and the nature of everybody. We all know each other's character. And again, 10 years. The military dynamic is 2 to 3 years. You build a team, that team trains, that team deploys, that team comes home, and everybody goes somewhere else. So to have that's our timer. We got 4 hours left. Okay. So to have a team, that's come together for so long. I hate to sound, silly and say, you guys make my job easier, but when you all do what you do so well, I have nothing to do but to enable you to keep doing what you're doing, and I love that. I remember we had one situation which was not a pleasant situation. Mm-hmm. We had an instructor who was being improper, to say the least.
Right.
But you guys got together, and by the time you came to me, your decision was he's gone. It wasn't, hey Bob, what do you think? It's like, hey Bob, here's what's going to happen. Yeah. And so again, that's trust amongst a team that is thinking about exactly what Jason said. Best interest of the company comes number 1. Best interest of our teammates number 2, and then best interest, self-interest, which is fine. We should all have self-interest, but it comes after number 1 and number 2.
I think that's the nicest thing about being with the same group for over a decade. Is we've had lots of storms. We've had to go through that storming phase so much. Once you know somebody's character after 10 years, the trends kind of show who that person is, And so when there's a new storm on the horizon, it's almost like you have your permanent residents, and that's not everybody that works for you. Most of the people that work for you are probably visitors. Mm-hmm. Like they're coming in their early 20s, they're going to be employed through their college years, and then they're going to go do whatever it is they want for college.
Yeah.
So we only have them for a short period, 4 years, 5 years, and then as leaders, I want them to look back, and that would be the big thing for me. They look back and they're like, "You were the best freaking dude."
Has anybody ever called you or
yeah.
Have you received those messages? Exactly.
I have. They're awesome.
Yep.
They are awesome.
Yep.
But you got to earn them every day.
Every day.
Yeah. I wonder how many people call me and be like, "You know what? You sucked."
Yeah.
Like I really hated you, man. Like because there's no jobs out there.
No for sure, man. If you're successful, you have haters. That's just the way this world is.
I just remember how it felt internally. Like when I asked you that question, and you were like, you think over the actions or how you handle stuff, and lately you've been feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah.
I think in the moment you feel like if I get some kind of emotional if it knocks me emotionally off, and my adrenaline pumps, I feel blood in my throat,
Right.
and whatever. It's like I want to have way less of those.
For sure.
When-
Stress.
When,
Yeah,
I
we
was
don't want
young,
that
when I was
stress.
younger, you know, somebody would come up to me with a vacation request, and I'd feel it throbbing in my throat. You know, it's like that's not an issue. That's,
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's
Go have fun.
Let's figure it out. Let's,
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I already made that schedule, but let's figure it out.
Yeah.
You know. And yeah. And that's how I weigh it now. Like that's how I gauge it. Hey, how am I doing? Well, when my head hits the pillow at night, am I still thinking about it?
Yeah.
And if I am, well, let's think a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I want my head to hit the pillow and me to think that night.
It's all good.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what you guys are doing for me. So good. It's really good and it allows us to do other stuff. You mentioned Elevate Your Leadership. Jason's got the book on display over there. So that allowed us to grow into these other offerings. You know, using this incredible tool. But before we dive deep into Elevate Your Leadership and these other really cool developmental, team building, health and wellness of leaders and teams and this cool stuff. We're going to take a quick commercial break because we have really cool sponsors and we'll be right back. And we're back. We are talking to Jason Laverius, General Manager at iFly Virginia Beach. Give us a wave, Jason. There we go. Ray Kubiak, Chief of Safety and Training at iFly Virginia Beach. Both OGs. Both have been here since the day we opened the doors. Officially, it was April of, soft opening was January of 2015, and the grand opening was April of 2015. So before we talk about Elevate Your Leadership, let's go into one other thing. What's one of the kookiest, craziest things that has happened in the last 10 years in the walls of iFly Virginia Beach from Ray Kubiak's perspective?
Woo! Well, we had a homeless lady one time, or an unhoused lady one time, take up residence in the members lounge for God knows how many nights. She was the sweetest lady, and when she would leave, she'd lock up.
Yeah.
So when we closed the door at night, we set the alarm, and if she would somehow get into the building with nobody seeing her,
Yeah.
we'd set the alarm and leave, and then she just wouldn't move or open the doors or anything, so we never knew she was here.
Yeah.
She had a roof over her head,
Yeah.
a shower,
Shower.
bathroom, and
TV.
then when she would sneak out in the morning, she'd always make sure that the door, like after we would come in and turn the alarm off, we go to do startup, and she'd walk out, you know, and God knows how many days she was doing that. That was kooky.
Yeah,
That was different.
Well, and how, what's funny, how we discovered that, I think, was it you, Jason? Yeah. So the alarm goes off at 6:30 in the morning when the instructors show up to turn the building on, and it's like, okay, some knucklehead instructor didn't turn the alarm off, and so it's a false alarm again, and then...
But I knew that we weren't opening that early. So I was like, all right, who set the alarm? Again. Because I was irritated that I got set again and got woken up. And so I'm going through the security footage, and I'm like, this lady triggered the alarm at this particular time. And so when did she said it when she left. So I backtracked, and she came in the day before. I discovered, I reviewed the video, and I saw her walk in. She looked at the CSAs downstairs and just walked right up into the elevator and into the members lounge. And it was like she worked here.
Yeah.
She knew where she was going, and that goes to having confidence in your placement. Yeah, and not looking like a stranger.
Yeah. Did she say something about I'm going to watch my grandkids? I thought she said that to somebody.
I think that the CSAs that she used to say that to them.
Yeah.
All right, good. Right, go right on upstairs.
Yeah.
She went right on all the way upstairs.
Yeah.
And she was eventually discovered, and the next time she showed up, we were. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, lady.
Yeah.
You can't stay here.
Yeah, I actually found out who she was, and I went to the homeless shelter and offered, and she's like, "No, I have everything I need right here."
Oh, you offered a place to stay?
No, I think I was offering a meal at the time, but have lunch with her, but okay. So that was a pretty kooky moment, and what's one from your perspective?
I don't know that it was kooky. I thought it was pretty cool because we're an indoor skydiving center, if you will, right? But we had people rappelling off the side of the building.
That's right.
a few months ago, actually.
Yeah, we got video of that too,
Yeah,
right?
we got video
So-
of that. I actually shot drone video footage of it.
All right, let's get that to Dex and get it
Okay,
in,
yeah.
get it in this segment right here as we're talking. We're gonna see that video.
Yeah, and it was normally I wouldn't have somebody do that at all, but because the people that were rappelling, he happened to be a Hurst master, a helicopter rope suspension technique master, and so am I, and so we know how to rig for safety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rappelling out of helicopters, and they're rappelling off a building. And so I went up there first, of course, before they showed up, and I, for lack of a better term, showed them the ropes. Where I went, where
There's another one.
There's
All
another
right,
one.
that's
Count
two.
it.
That's only two. We need more than that. That's only two.
Dexter, get a counter. Dad jokes.
Fun counter, flash.
But I showed them where I would anchor, you know, which was completely, you know, not convenient, but it's the safest spot on the roof to anchor, which was the stairs. And rigged it so that it went down and around, and he had a really good idea where he taped a floor mat and used that as chiefing gear for the lines.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Cool.
And I was like, huh, you know, but as much as I wanted to rappel off the roof, but I probably should have just for the sake of just doing it.
Yeah.
I was too busy flying the drone that evening for me to do that. But, you know.
Yeah. So rappelling off our building, that was pretty
rappelling
cool.
off the building.
That was pretty cool. And something really cool that didn't happen, but we talked about, we have a friend, Corey, if you remember him. He was a helicopter guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, at one point he was talking about doing some touch and goes off the top of our building for some of their professional training.
That would have been cool.
Would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Never happened, but that would have been super awesome. And by the way, Corey retired probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I saw him and his family up in Williamsburg. Probably been 9 months when I was up there doing a book signing at Barnes and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in with his son and he bought a couple books and then met up with him and his wife afterwards and had a cocktail.
Funny story about Corey.
Ah,
Last name's out of it, of course.
yeah.
He, I'd done multiple courses with him. Like, I know the guy, you know. And at the same time, we were setting up to do this coach course. There was another group with Aaron. The dude's name was Aaron, right? And I got the wires crossed between Corey and Aaron.
Mm.
And I'm calling him,
Calling Aaron Corey and
I'm
Corey
calling,
Aaron.
I'm calling Corey Aaron the whole week. And then finally Friday, he was like, "Man, why do you keep calling me Aaron?" And I was like, I go, "That's your," and then it hit me and I was like, "Oh my God." So he's been Aaron ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
So he's like, "You know Corey?" I'm like, "Aaron?"
Yeah, that's funny, man. So I'll make sure we send him. I'll send him a link to this.
Yeah.
So two things I want to mention. So I'm gonna ask myself the same question: what's the kookiest thing? But before I do that, I want to mention. So I just walked down to Harris Teeter and got lunch today. When I came back, you know, I walked to the building from the north to the south. You know, we have that beautiful facade. You see the turrets, you know, the glass turrets that we have that run all the way up the building, and the way the signage is laid out and all that stuff. And you know, when we first put this together and turned on the lights and you know, looked, we're like, man, what a super impressive, cool place. But since we've been walking in and out of that same door for 10 years,
You don't see it in the same light.
you don't see it. It may have lost some of that luster. And so, just today when I was walking back up, I was like, holy cow, we can never forget how magic it is. The outside of this building looks magical, especially to a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. And the inside of the building is nothing but magic to those kids and those families, you know. And that's something we have to remember because it's so special to them. And we see it in the reviews, TripAdvisor and Yelp and Google. We see it in those reviews all the time. And we changed about 5 years ago, and Jason wasn't crazy about this. I changed our mission statement from we deliver the dream of flight to we bring people together through the dream of flight. And I made that change because of what I saw over the years. We literally bring groups of people together. We bring families closer together. Everybody who has that flight experience together, they're closer to each other in some capacity.
Right.
So that's the magic. All right.
Companies, go.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, groups, companies, corporate outings, you know, all the Elevate stuff, which I'm gonna jump into as soon as I answer my question.
Yeah, what's your kooky?
So kooky, what's my kooky kook? This is probably like a top 10 list. We should have done like a Letterman top 10 list of kooky crap. But remember when we were still under construction? It was after commissioning, right? Commissioning is when you turn the fans on and you can make wind and you can fly. But we didn't have windows on the front of the building on the second story yet, and so we were still in this construction phase. But you were doing training with the instructors, and then we would shut everything off when we would go home. And then one night, I got all the alarms on my phone. Yeah.
I know where this is going.
One night, all the alarms go off on my phone, and so it's like, oh man, somebody entered the building. You gotta get. So I come down here, and half the crew is here, flying, courtesy of one of our instructors, who's a good guy and still, we still like to see him around.
Spider-Phil?
Yeah, Spider-Phil, if you're watching. So half the crew's in here flying after hours, and
so one of the guy that we're talking about climbed up the side of the building and
made entry through. I think
so we
this
call
door
him
here, third
Spider-Phil.
floor.
Spider-Phil after that. Like he managed to get up the side of the building and then unlock the doors for everybody else.
Yeah. So the alarms go off, and then of course we had the surveillance video from across the street, and so that was one kooky thing. That was funny. No big deal. And then we had the lady who accused somebody of stealing her keys.
I stole the keys, but Ray stole her hat.
Yeah.
And wore it around.
Right.
Yeah. Look what I got.
She
Look at my
put
hat.
it on my head. And at first I thought she just was a really nice lady. And then, then she called you racist. Yeah, or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just,
I see an email from her every once in a while as well, by the way.
no kidding.
You still see her?
Oh yeah, I saw
Wow.
something this year. I was like, okay,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
still on the list. By the way.
Yeah, hopefully they get the help though. We do have,
No.
a bit of a homeless population down here, and they pop in and visit us every now and then. So, and we try and do what we can, but sometimes they will interfere with business, and you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
One of those other aspects of leadership. So, okay, development. We've developed so many things, and again, everything we do happens as a team. I write about in my book, hearing the voices of everybody. I call it voice versus vote. Everybody in this organization has a voice. The newest person on the team, I want to hear what they have to say. What do they think? What do they see? What's their opinion on different things? And what I've discovered is that's where the best ideas from improvement come from. You look at our flight packages. You look at the way we change the reservation timing, how early you should arrive, and how we do notifications, and how we address parking, and all these things that made the customer experience so much better came from our frontline troopers, who are customer-facing employees. So you got to give them the voice every single day. So with that. And by hearing your voices, we developed Elevate Your Leadership. So, and like I tell people all the time, by the way, our next course is Sunday, December 8th. Elevate Your Leadership, Sunday, December 8th. Full day event. Go to robertpizzini.com. That's robertpizzini.com. Click on events, and you'll learn all about this one-day event that includes the flight experience, and then we have leaders, founders, CEOs, executives, owners, co-founders, etc. People who have a leadership stake in their world, and we share some guided discussions on all things leadership. So that's Elevate Your Leadership. But we developed that as a team, and I really enjoyed that process of putting that together. So on the topic of leadership, Jason, any big lessons learned for you in the last 10 years?
On a daily basis, we go through something that you mentioned earlier that I talked to everybody about, and that's the 5 stages of team development. And this was developed by Bruce Tuckman many years ago, and it's something that I've learned to develop and be more aware of, because even though we've been together, Ray and I were storming yesterday morning. About something that we did we need a storm about it? Not necessarily, but we did. But then at the same time,
smooth storm, though.
it was a smooth storm, and as soon as you walk away, we were done. I was like, yeah, I was wrong, and learning to admit when I'm wrong as well, and how I reacted, and was is something that I've learned to develop, and that I've developed. It wasn't, you don't learn to develop, it's just through experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And afterwards I say, hey man, I'm sorry. And he's like, you didn't have to say that. We've been together for so long, but it's not a matter of me, I'm saying sorry to make me feel good that I'm saying sorry. It's the right thing to do, number one, right? Because I was wrong, in my reaction. And it's cool because at the same time as well, because from my perspective, but even more so from Ray's, it's like, yeah, I know you.
Yeah.
Right. He probably knew I was going to blow up about it too. A little bit, but not as much as I did, right?
It was. I thought it was good, but it was funny is you came in later and you were like, "Hey man, sorry about that," and I thought that was. I was like, no, "You didn't have to do that. I already knew." Like, we had it resolved before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, okay, all right. So forming, storming, norming.
You ever talk to my wife like that again?
Yeah, no, but it's developed through experience, and it's one of those things where you can't read a book about it, because there is a feel to it at the same time also.
Yeah. I would say you could do both. You can read a book about it, but you gotta have the experience.
Do you have any book recommendations?
As a matter of fact,
the link is in the description below.
Link in the description. Available on Amazon, by the way. Available at BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com, and RobertPizzini.com.
And JasonLavarius.com.
Oh, there we go. Do we have
promo code Lavarius?
We can set that up. So,
did you want to ask me that?
Yeah, I was going to say. So, a leadership lesson. Something that kind of changed the way you view, a certain aspect of leadership.
I started taking better care of myself.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like over the last 5 years, I've given a more consistent version of myself. Where I'm not coming in and having a day.
Mm-hmm.
There is no sick days for a real leader, somebody who's really taking it serious.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of sucking, I talk different, this is how I talk. The feeling of just sucking at it, feeling like you suck at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of being a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I suck at it every day. I feel like I'm getting a little better, but I still feel like I suck at it. And everybody I've ever really met, I don't think I know a single great leader that would boast about being a great leader.
Yeah, no, the great ones don't. For sure.
It's just like, wow.
As soon as you do that, you're going to get hit by a freaking bus.
The dudes I look up to, and I'm like, man, that guy, like the way he's doing it, like that's, and what attributes do they have? They're listening, they can actually hear people, they don't look at leadership as a dilemma. Like it used to always feel like a dilemma or a problem I had to solve, but now it's more like a puzzle I have to solve.
Yeah, I like that.
Like a Rubik's Cube, it's like, well, let's look at it, and sometimes that Rubik's Cube, the lights on the colors on the Rubik's Cubes are moving around like a disco light, and it's like, that's not a solvable problem yet.
Yeah.
So I don't want to add to that.
Yeah, don't make it worse.
So I just sit back for a second to see what happens, then once the colors stop moving, then I come in and go, hey, have you thought about this and this? And that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's fun,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a game because I'm not messing with people, but for me personally, learning that I'm working for them.
For sure.
Yeah. And I never really wanted somebody, when our guys, our subordinates, if you will, I never really want them to feel like they have a boss. Because we hired adults. You don't have an owner, like it's your choice to be here. And it's your choice if you want to leave too, And while you're here, I want to give you the best version of myself. And that includes drinking water, and getting proper sleep, and eating, eating foods that are going to be beneficial to my brain waves, so I can give you me.
Yep, functional medicine, man. That's like the next thing, medicine 2.0. It's all about, and I write about it in the book, and thanks for queuing that up, health and wellness. right? So rest, hydration, nutrition, exercise, brain and heart health, and lifelong learning. Those are the 6 things that I pay attention to every day. I know you guys pay attention to those 6 things. Look at all 3 of us are sitting here with our water bottles. Except I think you got coffee, right?
Coffee, yes, sir.
Okay, it smells
For
good
now.
too.
Kind of.
For now.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
99% water.
Yeah. Well,
It's just dirty water.
and according to the American Academy of Health Science, any non-alcoholic beverage is hydration.
Look
So-
that up.
So yeah, so coffee is hydration. I would go as far as to say Bud Light is hydration. You know,
He would go say that. He would say
Is any liquid? You don't drink Bud Light though.
well, if I'm looking to sober up,
That's great.
After some hydrating with wine.
yeah, exactly.
Wine-dration?
Yeah, if you think you had a little too much, just start sober up with Bud Light. So
That's funny.
So, yeah. So, but we do pay attention to health and wellness, and I'm telling you, you know, because I'm in the space and I speak, I keynote, and we run the courses here, and I travel and do the courses, and I partner with people on these leadership courses. You know, the best way to deal with disgruntled employees, the best way to deal with a toxic workplace, the best way to deal with a boss you can't stand. The best way to deal with any of that is take care of yourself. Rest, hydration, nutrition, exercise, brain and heart health, and lifelong learning. You can control what you say and what you do. You largely cannot control what others say or others do, right? And that's really a component of stoicism.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Becker, retired Admiral Paul Becker, talked about that when he was up here on the podcast. And really cool, but you know, you can control yourself. You largely can't control other people. And so focus on yourself, you know, so that's good. That's what we do, man. We pay attention to health and wellness. Let's talk about. So we just kind of hit the book. We hit Elevate Your Leadership a little bit. Let's talk about some of the programs we have here, because we do. You know, people go, oh, we go skydiving, and you know, what are? We'll start with Ray. You know, what are some of the programs we've developed since we opened?
Okay, so we have Youth League.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and season, I believe, is 13 weeks long. Price point, do you know what the price point is?
For Youth League,
Yeah,
call it $1,000.
Yeah.
yeah, somewhere around there. But kids get about 10 minutes a week for 13 weeks. And I'm running that right now. And I'm going to be turning that over to Brent and Nicholas.
Cool.
And
Does that 10 minutes include the Sunday session as well?
yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no.
Right. So they get about
So
20 minutes.
Yeah, so they get 10 minutes assured, and then we have that hour on Sundays, or is it 30 minutes? The 30 minutes on Sundays.
That's right.
And then whoever shows up for that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But yeah, we're seeing our kids now like grow into competitors. Like Nick just competed. I don't want to give his last name out.
Yeah.
Nick competed at nationals.
U.S. National Championship in Colorado.
Yep.
Colorado Springs.
Yep, that was pretty cool. You know, it takes some. He's been in youth league for four years or 4
Yeah.
seasons or whatnot.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's one of our offerings. It's youth league.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Jason, you want to give me one? Jason, who teaches STEM, you want to give me one?
There's so many, you know. I mean, going from the very beginning, I remember whiteboarding the progression of our LIFT program, you know, and how we come up to that price point and how we get somebody to be qualified to become.
Yeah. So LIFT, L1FT, you know, kind of a riff on LIFT, but it's level 1 flight training.
And yeah, how does one become, and what does it take to become qualified to fly outside of a wind tunnel? And it's basically modeled off of the USPA's Class A license, 24 jumps, you know, which equates to about 24 minutes, but we called it 30 minutes of flight time.
Mm-hmm.
And then how to price point that. But between that all the way to our STEM program, you know, where we talk about the concepts of how people fly inside of a wind tunnel or fall from an airplane, of sorcery, trickery, enchantment, and magic.
Wow.
You know? Wait a minute.
STEM.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. And how I haven't necessarily changed it, but we've changed the script on it a little bit to make it a little bit more, if you will, I guess engaging depending on what the youth, you know, what youth is coming in. If it's an elementary school child through a college level
Mm-hmm.
student that's in there for our LIFT program. In fact,
Did you just say Ute?
Utes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But that, as well as our CTAC Source program, which, if you will, mirrors the Youth League program.
Yeah.
But this is a program that iFly Virginia Beach has developed, and it is giving a way for us to give back to the community, where we effectively donate one season of Youth League to these underprivileged children. These kids will never ever come in here to do this on their own, probably.
Right. Exactly.
And it's, the school picks the Utes to come in and do it.
School picks the Utes.
You're right, and you're running that.
And I'm running that, and
You get all the kids in?
oh my gosh, I had 3 youth. I had 3 kids that didn't even want to get in the wind tunnel
Yeah.
on day 1.
Yeah.
And all right, I have to take it really slow with these 3. Where all right, let's just walk on the net, no wind. Eventually, got them laying on the net, no wind. Hey, let's turn the wind up slowly. And this took over a period of X number of weeks, and we are going into week 6 now, or week 7.
I think 6 or 7. Yeah, 7.
And those 3 kids that wouldn't even touch the wind,
Right.
wouldn't even step through the doorway onto that net, are now flying.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Cool.
And I witnessed all that. And that is absolutely incredible. So SeaTac Soars, and we'll put that link. There's a cool video, SeaTac Soars. You can just Google it, SeaTac Soars. But so it's a 12 or a 13-week program that we do, and it mirrors Youth League, like Jason said. So for Youth League, we charge $1,000. For SeaTac Elementary, we don't charge anything. We donate it. So 12 kids show up every Thursday on the school bus. We bring them in the building. We have a guest speaker, talk to them about something cool, and we have a lot of cool people talk about cool stuff. Then we feed them, and then we fly them, and we do the flight experience. And those kids go from, I'm not doing that on week 1, to mom, dad, school teachers look at me on week 13 when we do the showcase,
And it's not just about flying. I mean, the flying is the crux of it all, right? But it's about the confidence that they've earned, or that they've learned through fear, to do whatever task to fly, which can be applied to whatever else they do in the future. So
Exactly.
hopefully they'll take that, like, look, I didn't want to fly, but look at me now.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how to do this, but look at me now.
It's exactly why we do it. Pride and confidence is the foundation of that whole program, SeaTac Soars. Pride and confidence. So we have Youth League, we have SeaTac Soars, we touched on STEM. We have elementary school level presentation, we have intermediate school level presentation, and we have a high school level presentation all the way up to college. Jason has been in charge of our STEM from the very beginning, and had a lot to do with, we're state certified, so the Virginia Department of Education has approved our curriculum, so all the public schools can use us, and STEM is really a wonderful thing that we do here. We do military training, which I won't go into a lot of detail on, but we do various courses. Military free fall is what I did when I was on active duty. It's what Jason did, and we would go to these other tunnels around the country and train, and we would always come back to Virginia Beach and say, why isn't there a wind tunnel here? And I got serious about that question. As a matter of fact, I'll tell this. So in 2009, when I was still on active duty, I went to Arizona to do a wind tunnel coach course. And it wasn't so much that I was going to be a tunnel coach, although I did go on, perform that duty for a while. But because I was the guy who wrote the checks for the training, it was for me to go down and evaluate the course and, justify the spend. And we did that. And that was with Chuck Hashik, who's a great teammate who's no longer with us. But, and that's when I met Ray. And I said to Ray, I asked Ray, I was immediately impressed. I thought, man, this guy, he's got to be prior military, the way he presents himself and his professionalism and his humor, right? Because especially special operations guys, we have some pretty offhanded humor, And he's like, no, I just work with you guys all the time. And I was like, wow. I go, if there's a wind tunnel in Virginia Beach, would you move? And Ray said,
you're the third dude that's asking that, so.
No, you said 30th. 30th.
No, but I mean, realistically, it was you and 2 other guys,
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there 2 other guys in the running?
There were 4, actually.
4?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had all talked to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to hold my breath, but give me a call. Like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
The answer's yes,
Yeah.
but I can't hold my breath. Like,
And then 3 years later, I call him back.
yeah, that was crazy.
Remember me?
Remember me?
I was like, hell yeah, I remember you. What's up? He was like, well, it's happening. We got to jump on the ground. Like,
I was like, who's this guy again?
Yeah.
no, I totally remembered. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody made it happen. It was inevitable. This place,
It was gonna happen.
it was
here.
gonna happen. Somebody was gonna do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So lucky it was us.
yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit of the origin of how iFly Virginia Beach came to be, and I have to say, my partner Tori Breeden and the Breeden Company, who built this place, and you'll see the commercial here in a little bit on Breeden Construction, but they built this place over 10 years ago. We had to go 25 feet deep in the ground, which is what we call the plenum depth, to get a final plenum depth of 17 feet. So, between 17 and 25 is all the foundation prep. The solid foundation is at 17 feet subgrade, that is 17 feet below ground level. And that's our plenum, which is just a big space where wind speed is generated, and we have cooling and some other components. But
Because the water table was at like a shovel. Right?
5 feet. Yeah, we had John boats in the ditch. And
That's wild.
120 well points pumping for about 6 months.
Mhm.
I mean, that was wild to say the least. And at one point, we thought we were going to create the largest sinkhole in the state of Virginia.
and still might have.
Yeah. So, but I got Brian Revere, who's the president of Breeden Construction, Brandon Rogers. Sorry, Brandon. Brandon Rogers. Who was really the supervisor of the construction team. Those guys just did a great job, and this place is rock solid. We've had a couple minor incidents. We had the inlet contractor fail, which we took care of. We had a variable frequency drive fail here recently, but again, the team just jumped on that. But our vibration is fine. The building is solid. Yeah, everything. This place was built to last, and so the Breeden Company, Tori Breeden, great partner, great business partners. Bringing this lifelong special operator into the business world and teaching me how to properly
Spell business.
Spell the word business, exactly. So many thanks there for sure. So what other programs? What do we miss? We do Boy Scouts, we do Girl Scouts. We do All Abilities with Kendall. Have you ever helped out the All Abilities? Yeah. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't really have much to say about it. Right? It's a night dedicated to all abilities.
People with disabilities.
People are coming in with wheelchairs or a number of different things.
We'll roll some video here too.
And
for sure.
that's a cool experience, And man, you can make some moms cry, We make moms cry, and then what gets me is when I see the dads crying.
Yeah, right.
I come out, I see that guy cry, and I'm like good tears.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Tears
like-
of joy.
I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, hey, you guys have a good night. I go in the stairwell and have a good cry. It's wild. It's powerful.
Yeah,
It really is.
totally.
It's one of my favorite things is that, taking wounded warriors or people with some, adaptive needs and getting them out of that wheelchair.
Yeah.
And so I got that note that said, "Thanks for giving me freedom."
Isn't that incredible?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shared it on one of my social platforms, and then I think I took it down. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to share that. That's for me.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
So All Abilities, really the coolest thing we've done with that is with St. Mary's Home. A good friend of mine, Shannon Essel, is the Chief Executive Officer at St. Mary's Home. I know Shannon from back when her husband was stationed in Guam, and she worked at the Guam Harley-Davidson dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So I've known her, that's probably 20 plus 25 years. That's probably more than that, actually. I probably don't want to admit how long it's been.
It's depressing, right?
Yeah, because the clock keeps ticking. But
Impressive.
But she brought in the group from St. Mary's. So St. Mary's Home, if you want to check that out on YouTube, Google iFly St. Mary's, video by a fellow by the name of Brandon Keck, and you will see the most BK. You will see the most incredible 3-minute video of these kids literally getting out of their wheelchairs, and have a box of Kleenex with you or a box of tissues, because that video does move a lot of people. So All Abilities.
So I had a kid, when I was working in North Carolina at Paraclete, we had a kid, and I was flying him, right? He had a MS, I believe, and nonverbal, and his head was just down to the side, and I took a hold of him and I started flying him, and all of a sudden his head shifted, and I thought, oh no, like, because he hadn't moved, you know, and as soon as the head shifted, I looked at the mom, and she didn't seem concerned, you know, and he shifted his head. Something just told me to go with it, and I turned him the direction that he shifted his head, and then his head shifted back the other way. So I started turning him the other way, and then his head shifted back, and he was doing it on purpose. And we were having like this communication that was nonverbal.
That's cool.
It was super cool, man.
Wow.
And
That's cool.
we landed and got him back into his chair and stuff, and turned the tunnel off and went out and was talking to him. And that's the one that teared me up the most, because mom was just losing it. Like,
Wow.
you know, and the kid, I could see like emotion, you know, like he loved it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But that was I don't know, it's cool.
Some magic moments. For
It
sure.
is magic. That is magic.
Yeah. One of the other things we do here is a quarterly all hands. So we meet every week as a leadership team. We call it the weekly synchronization, or the sync, right? And the point is, the purpose is that we all share information with each other, so everybody knows what everybody else is doing, and we look for ways to help each other. You know, that's the whole purpose of a synchronization meeting. So you guys do them. You know, I travel a lot. You guys do syncs when I'm not around. We try and do them every week, but we don't do them after a 3-day weekend, and you know, sometimes based on who's available or whatever, we gap it for a while. It just seems to naturally have a pretty good cycle, I think, in terms of frequency. In addition to the sync, we do a quarterly all hands. That's where everybody gets together. All the instructors do flight instructor training. All the customer service associates do customer service training. And then we all come together, we break bread, usually by a wonderful meal prepared by the tunnel mom, Julie herself. So my wife Julie, who's an integral part of the team, you know, I'd say beyond leadership team with all this stuff. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
she's the
you're making me hungry, man.
she's the landscaper. You know, she does accounts, she does payroll, she does landscaping, and she makes us lunch when we have an all hands.
Part of the glue.
Yeah, part of the glue, exactly. So, but at the all hands, that's an opportunity for all of us to sit together. Like I said, we break some bread, and then also recognize people for superior performance, recognize people who advance in their level of qualification, and I get a chance to share with everybody, you know, what's on my mind, things that we're doing, new initiatives. Again, thanking people for their great performance, and I usually get what I call the sermon, where I'll talk about something very specific, usually something kind of close to elevate your leadership or something relative to that, but not always. It's, you know, relative topics of the day, really. It's kind of how we keep this place ticking. All right, fellas, we are getting close to the end here, and like I ask everybody at the end of my podcast, what haven't we talked about? What's cool about iFly Virginia Beach or Ray Kubiak, because Ray's cool, that what haven't we talked about that would be of interest to our listeners?
Jason, you go. Let me think of something.
Oh my gosh, okay. Let's see. What would be of
Calling
interest
me
to
out
our
first.
listeners? Yeah, right? You know, there's more to iFly Virginia Beach than just indoor skydiving. You know, and the skill of learning how to fly. You know, and it's those inner, if you will, accomplishments that one makes when they're learning how to fly, when they're learning how to walk. You know, learning how to fly head down. That makes them feel good about, you know, about themselves and what it's like to fly. Well, flying is what it's all about. There's more to it than just that. You know, I mean, I remember the first time I learned how to. I'm finally flying head down.
Yeah, that's upside down, by the way.
That's upside down. And
Flying.
wow, you know, and thank you to Ray, you know, who got me there finally. But part of that is just my own mental headspace, my own 6 inches of headspace. But it's more than just the flying. all the things that go into that at the same time also. I mean, it's looking at my son and how he's progressed over the years in his flying ability, right? And I mean, for one, he's good at this thing because I did not teach him how to fly.
Grandmaster Ray.
You don't teach family members, right?
Yeah, that's fact. That is a
You don't
fact.
teach family members.
Some hard lessons learned.
But Ray and the fellas, you guys taught him how to do the thing, which is awesome.
It's cool. That's a cool thing that, you know, we have Dominic and Sav are both instructors now in college, and I've, you know, met them when they were 10 years old and was able to make them instructors when they were 18, and that's cool.
That is cool. So Dominic, my son, Severin, Jason's son,
They were younger than 8. They were younger than 10.
Yeah, they were probably 8 or 9 years old.
That's wild, man.
But our boys are the same age.
Yeah.
And they're both in their second year of college now, and they're both instructors, and that is so cool when they come home for the summer.
And that's a fun lesson. It's fun to pull them into the room and be like, you want to be coach's son, or you want, you know, like, I'm going to be harder on you. I have to be harder on you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, come on.
Yeah.
I expect more out of it, you know?
Yeah,
like
for
your,
sure.
Your family, like you're not a visitor.
That's
Like,
right.
You're a resident. You're
That's
part
right.
of the glue.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to be part of the glue. Like, so.
Yeah. Well, the model there is when you have family members working in your organization, you treat your employees like their family, and you treat your family like their employees.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
Treat everybody the same.
Dude, yeah, they're great kids, though, like great men. Like they grew up good, man. Like it's cool. You know, I don't really have all that much more.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm excited. I think that we've turned a corner. We were at a crossroads as a nation. We had a decision to be made. The decision was made, and now we're moving in that direction. And I'm excited to see what happens over the next few years. You know, I'm done talking about COVID.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear why business was down or anything. Obviously, it was. You know,
We got Kennedy and Big Macs coming, baby.
we're coming. I just feel like, you know, we get the flyer count back up. You know, we've been doing good. I want to fly more people. If you've never been in this building, come. It's free to spectate.
Yep.
You
Come
know?
check it out.
And meet
Feel
us.
the vibe.
Meet us.
Meet us. Feel the vibe.
Yeah. That's all I got, Bob.
Okay. All right. So
What do you got?
Well, I'll close it out. There's so many different aspects of who we are and what we do. I'm glad you brought up Seb and Dominic, you know, because that's been a big deal. And our families, you know, have all, you know, we've had the Christmas parties, we've had different events, and we've done things outside of iFly together as well. And so, you know, we have become this extended family, which a lot of organizations, you know, that if an organization is doing well, that happens, I would say, generally speaking. But you know, we're moving into our second decade, right? We're winding down the first decade and moving into the second decade, and I know there's going to be challenges ahead, and but I'm just so comfortable facing challenges with this team, you know, and the
there's definitely still leaves in the tree.
yeah.
They need to be picked up tomorrow.
Dude, there's leaves in the tree out front if you want to bring that blower in here. All right,
Man.
cut Julie a little break there. Huh?
All right, I
Come on.
don't mind.
Come on now. So remember that time you came in the morning in the wintertime and the sidewalk was frozen over
Yeah.
because we left the sprinkler on and it froze out.
Horrible. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
And we did have one major snowstorm where we did a lot
We
of
haven't
snow.
had snow in a few years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
When we first opened up, because the chillers out back, we were afraid of the snow piling up on them, so we put tarps to keep. And then the tarps got frozen to the top of the unit,
Yeah.
but we weren't allowed to get on top of the unit.
Yeah.
You can't put weight on top of it. So it was like mission impossible.
Yeah.
And we were frozen to the core. I was
Yeah.
like,
Turns out we just didn't need to
living the dream. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we didn't need
The
to
things
tarp.
have heating units inside to, you know,
Who would've thought? Yeah.
freezing. So yeah, cool. Hey, last thing before we close it out, iFly Wilmington is having their grand opening November 30th, and so that's pretty cool. Julie and I are going to go down for that. But it's cool to see, you know, this is another military guy, Patrick McGuire, his team, and Boo, someone who's helped us quite a bit over the years, Boo Thompson, and to Rob Thompson, and to watch him be the chief flight instructor down there. And for those guys to begin their journey.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, super fun and exciting. So that's coming up. And with that, folks, we're going to sign off. Remember, you can find the Elevate Your Leadership podcast on Spotify, on Apple, on all the other platforms, and then the video version on YouTube, obviously. So like, share, all that stuff, but most importantly, come see us at iFly Virginia Beach. Peace. And we're up.
And that ends it for the podcast. And let me go ahead and sign off on the YouTube right now. I appreciate all you guys for jumping on in and chatting up in the chat. I appreciate the super chats as well, so thank you very much. Appreciate that greatly. If you are interested in reading the Elevate Your Leadership book, there is a link in the description below. But thank you all very much for
Check out
hanging out.
Joji, is that how you say it?
Joji, yeah.
Need to go to Virginia.
Come on,
That's
Joji.
right.
Yeah,
Come
Joji,
on,
go
Joji.
down. It's
Bring
not too
it
far
on.
away.
That's right.
All right, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you later on. All right. Cool.
All right. Hey, Bob.
And
What's up? Sorry, man. I was going blank a little bit.
okay.
That's all right.
And
Might be in a bit of a trough.
No. I just